another episode of Stuff That Helps Quick Fixes. Today we're going to talk really quickly about visual learners. Now, you probably remember that there are 5 different methods of learning, ways that people take in information most easily. Most people have one or a combination of several of these that work best for them. And as project managers, we need to work with everyone. We need to get information to people so they can absorb it quickly. Visual learners, no big surprise, learn best when the information is highly visual. I almost always have this kind of icon on my slides because it gives a nice visual cue for folks who learn visually about what's coming up. Charts and graphs are where you want to start for visual people. You want to use color, you want to use bold, you want to use italic, you want to use graphics to help them absorb and prioritize information and to get a lot of information at a glance, because that's what works for visual learners. Whenever you can, summarize the information and provide the backup details in another place, in another form, so that the visual learners can get to that information, but they don't have to look at it immediately. Here's a good example of how to present data to visual learners. A visual learner is going to be able to take a look at this pie chart, and they're going to get a lot of information immediately from it. It's graphical, it's colorful, it doesn't have a lot of words on it. This bit at the bottom, that's the backup detail that visual learners are not going to look at right away. If they want more detail, they will go to look at it, but that's not the place that you want to start with them. So you want to be sure that you present data in this kind of a graphical way. And I will say that a lot of executives seem to be visual learners. So this kind of get a lot of information at a glance, slides and printouts and whatever, really is what's going to work best for them. Now, I see a lot of minutes that look like this. They're kind of stream of consciousness. And all of the information is there. You see it reads a little bit like a story. A visual learner is not even going to look at this. It's going to look like way too much work to get the information that they need. It just doesn't work for them. So here's another example of how you do minutes so that visual learners can take the information in. You can see that it's bullet pointed. It uses bold to pick out the topics for each bullet point. You'll see the project status does not say at risk. It doesn't say yellow. It has yellow right here. Usually, quite honestly, a Y is a good idea, because if you have folks who are colorblind that are reading lists, that doesn't help them a lot just to have the yellow. But for purposes of visual learners, that's what's going to work for them. You see that there's not a lot of narrative. They can find what they want easily, and you'll see that action items are in a table, because that's going to be really quick. So if your attendee, Chris, is a visual learner, Chris is going to be able to find out what he or she is supposed to be doing really quickly by scanning through this. And this is actually a good format for minutes for everybody. When I always do my minutes in bullet form, and I get a lot of feedback that that's what people want to see. So this is kind of generic as well as visual. So remember, visual learners want visual cues. Use color, use bold and italic fonts, use bullet points, use graphics as much as you can. Details are fine. Lots of people are going to want details, but that's not where you're going to want to start for visual learners. And that's it. Hope it helps.